All right. 122,578 people are on the waiting list for a donation for an organ or tissue. 22 people will die each day waiting for an organ. One donor can save up to 8 lives. These startling statistics from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services to help paint the picture of just how important and how needed organ and tissue donation is in this country. Donating is both a wonderfully rewarding act and an uncomfortable topic of discussion. Conversations, however uncomfortable they may be, like organ and tissue donation, are very important and should be discussed. Organ donation and tissue donation is one of the most selfless acts that we can do in our lives. So why should you consider becoming an organ donor? We are all susceptible to disease, and inasmuch may require an organ donation sometime in our life. You, as healthcare professionals, may have seen someone personally benefited from an organ donation, or may have known a loved one who either benefited from an organ tissue donation or, as their last act of love, passed on that gift of life. I intend to help some of you here who have questions about organ and tissue donation find some answers. I've worked in healthcare for 10 years now, and I have personally seen people who have benefited from organ and tissue donation and have, as that last act of their life, given organs and tissue to help other people with theirs. I've seen it be very difficult for family members to come to that decision, but ultimately they see the benefits and the blessings that that gift brings to other people and tend to make the right decision. I want to talk to you about 3 major points. First is the need for donation. Secondly, what you can do to help. And finally, what the world will be like with and without your donation. So let's begin with my first, the need for donation. As I mentioned in my introduction, the chances of you knowing someone who may need an organ or tissue donation is extremely high. And more importantly, even if someone you don't know, just simply us being good to other people and helping someone out in their time of need at no cost to ourselves. Isn't that what life is just about? Just being good to other people. But let's be honest. You're not going to need your organs when you die. They'll simply waste away. Why not let a father who, with your heart, could spend even just a few more years with his children, or a mother, through the help of your cornea, see her children for the first time? According to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, every 10 minutes someone is added to that donor waiting list. And each day, about 79 people receive an organ donation. Now that's good. The flip side of this is that 22 people die each day waiting for transplants that can't take place because there's a shortage of organ donations and transplants. When you hear about how much enrichment your donation does for a person in their life, someone like Amelia from the U.S. Department of Human Services website. Amelia, upon completing high school, was diagnosed with cirrhosis of the liver, and her dreams of college were starting to crash. And after 4.5 years of waiting, she finally received a liver. And she expressed her gratitude every day for that gift. Amelia said, "The real heroes are the donors' families. I look at it this way. There could have been 2 tragedies, but my donor family turned their tragedy into a blessing. I'm forever grateful." Today, the mother of Amelia's donor keeps a picture of Amelia next to her son on her mantle. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services is filled with stories like Amelia on her website, dozens even. But I want you to notice how Amelia said, "my donor family," and how Amelia's donor's mother kept that picture of her and her son next to each other. It's about family extension, about being family to each other, even if you don't know the person. And as I said earlier, isn't that what life is all about, just being good to each other? Which leads me to my second point, what you can do to help. It's such a simple thing to go to the DMV, which is probably a sentence you've never heard before, but at the DMV window, telling that person that you want to register as an organ donor. Or you can even go to organdonor.gov. Most people can become donors, there's no age limit. and there's no cost to the donor or the family. You can designate on your driver's license, as I mentioned before, but you need to inform your physician, your family, your faith leader, and your friends of your decision. Also, start to fill out a living will, also known as advance directives, because this is very important, because if you find yourself very ill at the possibility of passing away and you don't have any family members around you, that living will be the only way that your wishes are kept. But one of the most beneficial ways you can help besides donating is simply getting involved and passing on information. You could do this by even simply posting on Facebook or tweet about where people can go to get registered, or even tell the stories of like Amelia or someone you may have known that have benefited greatly from organ and tissue donation. And finally, my third point, what the world would be like with and without organ and tissue donation. I'm sure all of you know the consequences of not becoming an organ donor. Around 8,000 people die every year waiting for a donation that could have saved their life. And the donation that would cost nothing to you, and you'd be seen as a hero for the rest of that person's life. Even simply considering becoming an organ donor, which is, I understand, not a simple task to even think about. No one likes thinking about their own mortality, but even considering it is a positive step in the right direction. I don't want to guilt trip anyone into making a decision. I just simply want to give you more information for you to consider before making that decision. You could be responsible, according to the U.S. Health and Services Department, of saving up to 8 lives through organ donation, and many, many more through enriching lives through tissue donation. Through this gift to someone that you would no longer need, something that would simply become dust after the passing of your life, you could bring happiness into the life of many people. And conversely, without more people becoming donors, we would see more people's lives cut tragically short, more families longing to spend even just a few more years with a loved one that they could have if they had that organ donation. So, you've all heard many facts and stories of people who were personally affected by organ and tissue donation, and I've given you a lot to think about, and that's a good thing, because as I've mentioned, even just thinking about this is a huge step. And becoming an organ donor, like I said, is the most selfless act that we can do in our lifetimes. I hope that I've given you enough information to make this decision, or at least consider making a decision. We've always been told to be good people, and to see the good in people, and to be good to others. And what better way to be good people than to pass on a little bit of ourselves to make someone's life better?